Welcome to you. My name's Dale and this is Dale's Addiction. Today I wanted to do a quick little video. I was looking around my closet and I'm like, look at all the different monograms that I have now. And I thought it might be interesting just to do a bit of a comparison and, you know, force myself to choose my favorite monogram canvas piece from my collection of Fendi, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton. Now, I have to say that my Gucci is not necessarily Gucci, it's Balenciaga, but it's based on Gucci, so we're going to call it Gucci for today because I don't have any Gucci Supreme canvas, but I do have my Balenciaga tote that is based off of the Gucci canvas design, so we're going to talk about it in that respect. So let's just start with the Gucci, shall we? And in my case, yes, Balenciaga. You can see that I've got the BBs here instead of the GGs because this bag is the Ophida tote that was part of the Hacker Project collaboration with Gucci and Balenciaga. You can see here it says this is not a Gucci bag. Now, what do I love about this particular style? Well, personally, I prefer the cooler tones in this particular monogram because it is more of a grey kind of taupe colour. It actually works better with a lot of my wardrobe, and this brown leather straps together with the Ophida stripe are also cooler tones. And so if you haven't caught any of my recent styling program vlog videos where I've kind of gone through what I've learned, basically what I'm trying to say is that my colouring suits cooler colours better, but you know, a bag is rarely being held right up to your face, so it doesn't matter. But what it does mean is it's more complementary to a lot of the things that are in my wardrobe because I tend to wear cooler colours and cool colours look good with cool colours. So it's a really long-winded way of saying that this particular monogram is cool. It's cool on cool on cool, and for me, that's what I really love about it. This Balenciaga style is actually quite a lot more structured than the Gucci style, and I don't know why that is. I have an organizer in my bag, but it's not a review on the bag, it's just the canvas. So I am definitely interested in looking at Gucci pieces in the Supreme canvas print. I'm just looking for the perfect piece. It's not a rush, but I really want one because I love this more retro Gucci look. So I'm going to say this is a front runner for my favourite canvas, but I'll tell you at the end what order I put them in. So the next one that I'm going to share with you is the Fendi Zucca print. Now I have this in the uncoated Zucca print. This is the mini baguette that I recently purchased. And you can see that this has no coating on it. It is a fabric baguette. But I also have my Defender cover for the mini Peekaboo, and this one is in a coated canvas, and you can see it has the Zucca print as well. Now this is more brown tones, whereas this one it appears to be black and brown, but it's actually dark brown and a lighter brown. This is the same, but it does look quite different in the light. It looks lighter, more warm kind of tones. So I really love the Zucca print, especially in this smaller print. It is coming out in larger FFs, kind of like my multicolour baguette over there. Actually, I'll get it so you can see. So in this size, see how they're very small and these ones are larger. Now, I do believe that the Zucca, so this brown on brown, is going to come out in these larger FFs. And I'm not really sure that I'm for that. I prefer the smaller ones. And on a lot of the old vintage Fendi Mama baguettes, you'll see the Zucca print even smaller than this. And it actually looks really cool, I think. So I love that these browns again are really cool browns and they work perfectly with me and my wardrobe. I also have a Fendi blazer in this particular fabric, and it is a winner for my complexion. So again, it's another front runner for me. I love these cool tones, and I love the fact that having a bit of pattern on a bag breaks up when you just wear a lot of block colours in your outfit. Okay, now Louis Vuitton are famous for their canvas, their coated canvas pieces. I'm not actually sure if Louis Vuitton do any uncoated canvas. They did do the jacquard in the denim, and I still have my micro Speedy from that collection. I did buy the Speedy 25, but I ended up selling it because it just wasn't a bag style that worked for me. But this is not canvas, this is jacquard, so I'm not aware that they do any uncoated canvas. This is the damier azur, and this bag here is the Eva clutch. It's a discontinued line from Louis Vuitton, but it's my only piece of damier azur. Now, from a distance, it looks like it's white and blue, but actually close up, it's more of a creamy kind of off-white and a bluey grey kind of purple tones, I guess it might throw. It's an interesting combination with the patinaed vachette because, I mean, I don't know, all of the colours are kind of warm, which for me makes it less appealing, I have to say. And I think I'm not the only person I've heard in videos talk about the fact that this bag looks really clean on videos and photos, but when you get it in person and you look to pair it with your bright summer colours, because it's usually a bag that is worn in summer, it looks dirty because it's off-white. It's not as neutral as you might think it might be. Now, this particular sweater that I'm wearing from Lily Silk, plug, discount code down in the description box below. Love it. It is pure cashmere. It is divine, and I have washed this a couple of times and it's still beautiful. It looks good with this because this is cream, right? It's not white. But if I put this next to something white, so this is a dust bag, you can see it's not white. It looks kind of dirty against white. And I think a lot of us buy this bag thinking that it would look beautiful with white linens. And, you know, if you're not too fussy about that, yeah, absolutely it does. But I think it gets put back on my shelf and probably a lot of other people's shelves for the reasons that I'm saying here, that it's not white. And damier azur over time can tend to yellow. Mine hasn't. And I bought this pre-loved and it still hasn't yellowed. Even the fabric across the zipper pull hasn't yellowed. So it's still in beautiful condition. But I have to wear it with things that are printed. I find it difficult to wear it with plain things that are bright colours, except for this, because it just looks dirty and I don't want to be looking like I'm carrying a dirty bag around. So next from Louis Vuitton, I've got my only example of the damier ebene print, the original monogram from Louis Vuitton, but very easily replicated because you can see the design. Now, even though it is a checkerboard pattern, there are some like little minuscule patterns inside of each of the checks. But people, you know, they're pretty pedantic when it comes to quality counterfeiting these days, and so it was quite easily replicated, and I'll show you the new monogram, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, up next. But the damier ebene is kind of a pinky brown. It's kind of interesting, and it's never really consistent between the different styles of bags. And against different colours, so the damier ebene against black looks like a cool kind of brown, but when you see the damier ebene against, say, the pink ballerine lining in the Neverfulls that it comes in, it tends to look more pinky and has pinky undertones. It really picks up on what it's put next to, which makes it a fabulous neutral because it kind of complements, it's like a chameleon, it kind of complements whatever colour you're wearing. The problem is, I guess, it's not really a year-round kind of canvas because it does tend to be a little bit too geometric and harsh for, say, summer. You might disagree with me on that one, and you're absolutely entitled to do so, but for me, I think it's much more, this is definitely a winter bag for me. If it didn't have black here and it had, say there's a magnolia, like a baby pink flap, this is the Clapton bag, by the way, would I still think the same? I think so. This is not a bag I would wear in summer, not here anyway, in the subtropics. So I love it, but I love it for winter. And then finally, I've got an example of Louis Vuitton's monogram. Now, this is the smaller monogram, and I've got a bit of reverse monogram and also original monogram. This is the Louis Vuitton trunk clutch, and I have heard that this one has been discontinued. It's a softer version of the Petite Mal, so it has its strap inside of it, but you can see I can squish it. And I love this bag. It's beautiful. My friend actually wore it out to lunch yesterday. It was so nice to see her enjoy it as well. So it has the reverse monogram, which is very warm, and I would probably never buy a bag that was just reverse monogram because it's too warm for me. Then it's got the traditional monogram, but it's all very small, and it has the black leather trim along with a whole bunch of stud work and things like that to replicate the trunk design with the beautiful gold hardware. Now, this one is a statement piece, so it's not a bag that you would probably wear for everyday use, but I wanted to show you the combination of the reverse monogram and the original monogram so that you could see the difference together on one piece. So now I'll show you a piece of the original monogram. This is my Louis Vuitton Tambourine bag. Now, this one is a re-edition of the original Tambourine bag. I think it was out a couple of years ago. I snaffled mine up on the pre-love market. I love the shape of it. I don't wear it a lot because I find the strap is too wide and it slips off your shoulder, and it's not quite long enough for crossbody for me. But it's a good example of the Louis Vuitton monogram. So you can see that it's quite a neutral. Now, with all this warm honeyed vachetta around it, yes, it looks quite warm. And that's an individual thing, whether or not you like the honeyed vachetta with the monogram. On this bag, because there's a lot of vachetta, it's really, really obvious, and it's probably not something that I would gravitate towards a lot. However, this is my Neverfull GM, also bought pre-loved. It's about 11 years old, and it just has a touch of the vachetta on the big monogram bag, and I find this a lot more to my liking than the Tambourine, where it has a lot more warmth. This one is kind of cooled down, and I think this is a bag that will pass in the summertime as well as the wintertime, despite the size of it and despite the brown of it. I think it just works. I'm not sure I can tell you why, but I think it's just a little bit, slouchy, a bit undone, as opposed to the damier ebene, which is a lot darker and a lot more serious. I think just the flowery patterns, maybe it's the flowery patterns on the monogram that make it, more summer friendly in my particular opinion. I also think it's a much better neutral. It kind of goes with everything, and I for one definitely enjoy when I'm wearing a pattern myself. I love putting monogram with a pattern or printed dress because I think it just picks up on your outfit and it makes it really interesting and really four-dimensional, and that's what I'm kind of looking for in my looks. It also really elevates just a basic look that I'm wearing today, blue jeans and a cream sweater. So my pick of the monograms, this is really heavy because it's full of things. For ease of use, everyday wear has got to be the Louis Vuitton monogram. I think it's a pretty monogram with all of the beautiful patterns in it, and I also have a fair bit of Louis Vuitton costume jewellery that kind of emulates different parts of this monogram pattern. So that's got to be my favourite. Now my next favourite comes down to the kind of Gucci Supreme print and the Fendi Zucca. It's probably not going to surprise you, but I'm going to go with the Fendi Zucca print. I love this kind of matte finish, and yes, it's uncoated, so it is a bit different to all of the other monograms, but Fendi do coated canvas in their hard baguette trunks in the menswear section and also in their nano baguettes. So, I still think this is a really great cool brown, and it's very obviously Fendi. But a close third has got to be the Gucci Supreme print for sure. And this is one of my favourite work bags for that exact reason, that it's cool and complementary colours. Coming in number 4 is Louis Vuitton's Damier Ebene, and then finally the Damier Azur. Look, I only have one piece of each of these, and that's probably telling you something. Yes, I love them. I'm glad to have them in my collection, but they're not my favourite canvases from all of the options that I have in my collection for the reasons that I have mentioned in this video. They're just harder to pair. They're more seasonal. For those reasons, I think that there are better options for me anyway and my wardrobe. So what are your thoughts? What are your favourite canvases? And I know that there are canvases from other houses that we could talk about. So particularly for a Lepage, I have the caliber 21, but I don't have one in the full canvas yet. So I didn't think I could comment based on just these little canvas highlights. Goyard, I know, have a lovely coated canvas as well, but it's very like smooth and mushy, kind of. So I'm not sure that I'm really big into that. But yeah, what's your favourite canvas from the luxury design houses and why? And do you have a preference in terms of the warmth or coolness of the canvases and your wardrobe and kind of how versatile you think they are? Or do you have a selection to make sure that you always have a canvas option for all year round? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. If you've liked this one, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I put out videos twice a week, usually on Wednesdays and Sundays, and sometimes some extra ones as well. So I'd love to see you back here. Until then, ciao.